Hello students, welcome to week 8 for Com 430. This week we are wrapping up some of the major ideas that we need in the course. We are moving into the last week of content and we should be working on our critical assignment. It's important to know when we look at the agenda that we are reading chapter 10 of the Creswell text and Cornelia. We are in step 8 and step 9. At step 8 and the conclusion. Step 9 is really the conclusion. We are also watching the 3 paradigms of communication research. This is a very important video. Make sure you allot the appropriate amount of time, which is about an hour, to this video. And you watch the video on how to support research with theoretical and conceptual frameworks. What we're doing this week is completing activity number 5. It's due on Friday. Discussion board number 8, your original posts are due on Friday with replies due on Saturday. That is different than the normal deadline of Sunday. And the critical assignment is due on Friday. Please know that the course officially ends on October 28th. So that's the last day I can that's the last day I can accept work and the last day you can complete work, because that's when the course ends. Which is Saturday. Do know that you do need to make sure you get all of that work in by then for the week, and look at the deadlines for the week because most of the assignments are due on Friday. The only thing you will be submitting on Saturday is the replies to your discussion board number 8. Additionally, we'll get into some of the ideas of the critical assignment in a second, but that's really what the focus of the content is this week in the course. So we are, for activity number 8, writing a 200-word reflection. So a brief reflection that clearly shows the reader your thoughts about communication research and the research process. You should be considering when it's appropriate to use communication research and what type of questions you can answer about communication through the research process. So I'm really looking for a summative kind of reflective statement on what you think communication research is at this point in the semester. We started off with an assignment like this earlier on in week 1. And so what I'm looking for in this one in week 8 is to see growth, to see what you've learned throughout the time in the course, to see how your answers not maybe necessarily has changed, but how there has been growth demonstrated through the content learned within the course. So this is a reflective assignment asking you to look back in on some of the things you've done this semester. Discussion number 8 asks you to take your research topic and using the 4 combinations of worldview and design and research methods and figure 1.1 of the Creswell text, discuss how they bring your project together. So what I want you to do is go back to chapter 1 on page 22 of the Creswell text, look at figure 1.1 and identify whether your research proposal or topic would be quantitative, qualitative, or mixed methods. But more importantly, look and see, now that you have completed the entire course, where it would fit within the 4 combinations of worldviews, design, and research methods, utilizing that figure. This is enticing to you in the sense that it should be asking you to draw upon your discussion and participatory skills within the course to start to look at each other's work and critique it now in a different fashion. You'll be spending the most of your time this week on the critical assignment. Remember, this is a research proposal. We've been completing this in chunks throughout the semester. So your proposal as a whole, and there's an example as well as a template in Blackboard, will include an introduction, a full literature review with at least 2 to 3 themes, a proposed method sections, as well as utilizing all of your research activity assignments and midterm to construct this paper. Again, there is a template in Blackboard. This will help you significantly. I do advise you that if this is something that you feel you're going to need to consult with me on, that you're going to need help with, get in touch with me early on in the week, since we do have a short week. Remember, the course is ending on Saturday, and it's very important that you get that work completed in a timely fashion. Your entire research proposal should be 1,250 words in APA style and format. Now remember, don't look at this and think this is something brand new. We're pulling our literature review outline and putting it into an actual literature review. We're taking everything from our annotated bibliography and putting that into the literature review. We've already written an introduction. We've already talked about methods. So what we're doing now is we're combining all of this into a research proposal. Remember, the goal of a research proposal is to provide the reader with a proposal of to what research you would want to do. So, for example, if you were to submit this to me and a committee here at CBU to conduct research, this proposal should be complete and comprehensive to allow the committee to know exactly what type of communication research you want to conduct. as well as what ethical measures you will take, as well as a clearly laid out plan as to how that research will be accomplished, or meaning how you'll answer your research questions or hypotheses. That's a very important perspective to take when developing this and writing this paper from that perspective. The proposal is to provide the committee with a guide and an understanding of what you want to do. And so, like I said, that is due on Friday. If you have any questions, I'm more than willing to meet with you this week. Just set up a time and give me a call or an email, and we can meet early on in the week, as this is due on Friday. I wanted to go through the 3 paradigms in social science research or within communication research. There's a video this week that spends some time on it, but I wanted to highlight it now for the sake of discussion within the course. It's important to know that these 3 paradigms are found within all social science research. Communication studies is a discipline within social science. It is a social science. So there's a scientific roots within communication. We find ourselves and we hover ourselves in the area of social science. And so with that, we need to know that the systems paradigm views communication as a system, and that there are 5 characteristics of the system of communication. There's interdependence on all parts of the system, meaning the entire system depends on one another, each part of it. There are organized wholes, and the whole really is the greater of the sum parts, and that they're characterized by this dynamic equilibrium. So something that's dynamic, kind of equalizing everything to a certain degree. The system paradigm is setting out to explain the functions of parts in relation to the whole. So if we're looking at the outcome of a communication, an interpersonal communication situation, a systematic approach or a system paradigm approach to communication research will look at the functions that are related to the result of that communicative situation. It usually utilizes quantitative data, as well as it also relies a lot on independent variables. So a system paradigm is rooted heavily within quantitative research. The next one we're going to look at is the interpretive paradigm. That one is rooted in qualitative research, where we're utilizing heuristic frameworks and theories to construct an understanding of communication. So humans are capable of reflectivity and their action of purpose, and studies within this area of communication look at semantic relationships and the meaning of rules, and in hopes of constructing theories of understanding from looking at qualitative research. So we're looking for the interpretation, the phenomenological effect of understanding how communication phenomenons influence and impact communication behaviors, situations, and that ritualistic communication we love to achieve. When you look at the critical paradigm, that gets more into the idea of rhetorical or critical studies in communication, which you will have exposure to when you take our rhetoric class or our rhetorical criticism class. It looks at the idea that reflection produces knowledge, and critical reflection really enables not just the exposure of ideological perspectives, but also allows us to critically reflect on those perspectives to answer societal questions about ideology and such. So research really is, in this paradigm, looking to enable social change by providing critical reflections of ideological perspectives as well as societal implications of those reflections. And it's important to know that social science really is a subject of critical reflection in its nature. So when we take on the lens of social science research from a communication perspective, we're looking at the influence communication has on that. So it's really important to keep some of those things in mind as we move forward. We are in week 8. We're reading chapter 10 of the Creswell text. We're reading step 8 and the conclusion of the Cornelia text. We're watching 2 videos related to communication research. Activity number 5 and discussion board number 8 are due on Friday. Replies for discussion board number 8 are due on Saturday, and the critical assignment is also due on Friday. I pray that you all have a blessed week. Make sure you take some time to do the course evaluation. If you have any questions, let me know, and I look forward to interacting with you this week. God bless.